Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Little Fat Mushy Tove, representing the WCIS. We can inspire someone. OPP, only promote positivity. Shout out to Waterbed Have. Shout out to Uncle DV. And shout out to the WCIS community. That's all about a unity. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully, everybody's feeling good. Hopefully, you've had 2 productive days since the last time we spoke. Today has been a really long day for me for a multitude of reasons. But I'm here. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. I'm here. I'm a little under the weather, so if my voice sounds a little off, I apologize. Hold up, let me set. I didn't even set my sound effects up. Hold on.
Power off.
Hold on, I gotta set my sound effects up. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Let me turn them back on.
Power on.
How's everybody? All right, now we should be good. Hopefully, everybody's feeling good today. I don't know how long the stream is going to be tonight.
Connected.
There we go. Now let's check out. Ah, there we go. All right, we good. We good. So hopefully everybody's feeling good. Hopefully y'all feeling better than I'm feeling, because I'm feeling a little under the weather tonight. I'm not gonna hold you. I am feeling a little under the weather, and I'm also feeling a little sad and a little down tonight. And for some reason, my internet is acting up. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me and the stream is going on with no problems. It's showing that. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, we should be good now. So, hopefully everybody had a good couple of days. Work has been pretty stressful for me the last couple of days. Been a little bit under the weather. And then on top of that, you know, when I've been connected to someone for pretty much his whole life, the majority of my life. I'm talking about my uncle Eric. So our dynamic to have a younger uncle. Lord knows how many times we had to explain that to people. Wait a minute. He the uncle, but he younger than you? How could that be? But me and Eric have been through everything together, from losing our Aunt B, from being hungry, not having no money, not having no lights, not having no heat, not having no food, and we fought through it all. We definitely fought through it all. What up to everybody on IG? We fought through it all, and Eric moved out today. And it was bittersweet. You know, it was a bittersweet day for me. Although me being 46 and he's 37, I'm 9 years older than him. He's someone that I've invested most of my life into, and Eric is my best friend. But I do realize that there comes a time when everybody has to go their separate ways. I knew that we wouldn't be side by side forever, but it's still a sad day to see him go. I'm happy for him. He found his own apartment. Anyone who knows me from back long time ago's days know that me and Eric have always been connected at the hip, and we went through so many phases in our relationship of father son to brother to best friend that it's really difficult to know that that closeness that we had is not going to be the same anymore. Not to say that it won't be there anymore, but it won't be the same anymore. Anyone who knows us from the show, us sitting here laughing, joking, rapping together, having fun, making songs. You know, me and growing up, we were interested in. He kind of just took on to what I liked. So Godzilla and Michael Myers and Transformers and wrestling and all the things, the Chicago Bulls, the San Francisco 49ers, you know, all the things that I was into, he just naturally gravitated to from us playing video games together, playing Uno together, watching movies together, doing the show together. It's difficult to see your friend walk away, you know. And I'm not in the best of moods. And, you know, it really affected me, and it's probably going to continue to affect me for a while. But me being such a loner, you know, I've always felt like, you know, a loner. What up, Jersey Devil? Welcome to the stream. Me being such a loner and always being a loner, Eric was like my family, you know, like Eric is the throughout most of my life, Eric is the person who gave me my real sense of family. I felt like my family has already always been really a really small family, you know. And my immediate family has always been me, him, and my aunt B. So just going through everything with him, and our relationship wasn't the best, you know. Here lately, to be completely honest, if I'm gonna tell the story, I gotta tell the whole story. Our relationship hasn't been the best here lately, but it still doesn't change the fact that, you know, he's my best friend and I love him dearly. And it's a huge change for me. It's kind of like reality looking me in my face too, you know. He's moved on to the next phase of his life, and this is actually a different phase of my life, to be completely honest. If I'm going to talk about it, I got to talk about it. And it's just going to be different for me. It's going to be really a lot different for me. But I am happy for him. What up, SWAT member? Welcome to the stream, my brother. But I'm happy for him, you know, at his age, you know, it took a long time, but at his age, you know, he has to get out there and walk in that world without a safety net, you know. But I had become comfortable being his safety net, and I don't have any children. Um, so Eric was the closest thing to a child. I don't have any children. I don't have a brother. You know, so Eric fulfilled both of those roles for me. He fulfilled so many roles for me. And to know that we officially today have gone our separate ways. I was sitting here, I'm like, you know, I don't really feel like doing the show today. But I said, nah, let me get up on the show. It might actually make me feel a little bit better. So hopefully creating the distance between us a little bit will actually help bring us closer together. We had a really good conversation today. And hopefully now because sometimes when you're around each other for too long, you know, you start to, I don't know what happens, you know, when you're around someone for too long, eventually you feel like, you know what, I need to get from around this person. And I get it, and I completely understand it. I completely understand it. It's gonna take some time to get used to it. But shout out to Uncle Deep V, my Uncle Eric. I love you, my brother, and I wish you nothing but happiness. And I'm not like saying goodbye or anything, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be a different chapter in both of our lives. What up, Ashy? Larry's in the building. What's going on, bro? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're feeling good. So now, from the people who know me from the show, there's always been me, Eric, and Uncle DV. What up, Crazy Lunatic is in the building. What's going on, my brother? What up, Shy T? What's going on? She's too shy. Hush, hush. Wow. What's going on, Shy T? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, Ashy Larry, Uncle DV moved out today, bro. He moved out today. And I'm a little down. Done shed some tears today. And then on top of that, I'm a little under the weather. And then on top of that, at work has been a complete catastrophe for the last couple of days. So let me hold on. Let me set up the link. If anybody want to jump onto the stream with me, y'all let me know. I was just in his room, sweeping and cleaning up and stuff, and man, this is 36 years of his life. Yeah, Ashy. Silky Hogan better watch out. Yeah, bro. So just in there, cleaning up his room and just thinking like, yo, that's a lot of years, bro. It's a lot of years. His whole life, 36, 37 years of my life, has been dedicated to making sure that he was good. Very few decisions have I ever made without him in my mind and him in my heart. So shout out to Uncle DV. I'm happy for him though. I'm sad for me, but I'm happy for him. So now there's just, it's your boy Little Fat Mushy Toe all by itself. All right. So if I sound a little off today, I sound a little down. I just wanted to give y'all a little precursor of, one, I'm a little under the weather, and two, I'm just a little down. That's all. There's nothing worth the change of weather here in New York got me a little sick. I wanted to just lay here and just relax and rest. I said, nah, let me turn the camera on and do the show. So enough of my sob story. Hold on, let me see something real quick.
Y'all ready? Yeah. Do it. I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense. Pride. Make it easy, oh. Let the children laugh, though. Remind us how we used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greater inside. Me, that's like good.
Damn, them boys could sing.
All right. Shout out to Uncle DV. Shout out to Waterbed Have. All right, let's get into the show, y'all. Let's get into the show. So tonight we were talking last show we were talking about accountability. So tonight I wanted to pick that conversation back up. So Shy, you weren't here, and Squad member, you wasn't here on Tuesday. Let me ask you a question to the both of you. When was the last time you held yourself accountable for something, and what was it? What was the benefits? What are the benefits of holding yourself accountable? And when was the last time you had to hold someone else accountable? All right. That's the question that I have for Shy and for SWAT member. All right. Accountability seems to be something that's very difficult for people to really, really uphold, and last episode we was talking about accountability in all situations, but my man Jay Clay said this episode he wanted to talk about accountability when it comes to relationships. So last stream we were talking strictly about people holding themselves accountable. Now we're going to talk about accountability between men and women in relationships and how you should go about approaching it. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So do you feel as if it's difficult to hold? Do you feel like it's difficult to hold your partner accountable without them getting offended, without them? How do you even go about approaching your partner to hold them accountable when you feel like they've done something wrong or they're in the wrong? All right. That's the question that I have that's the first question that I have for tonight. Me personally, I've had a bad habit. Both can be a bad habit, to be completely honest. Sometimes I'm too blunt and I say exactly how I feel. I'm never saying it in a I'm never saying it in a disrespectful way, but I will say how I feel. And if I agree or disagree, I'm gonna speak on it. But then I've also had the issue of keeping things to myself and not bringing it up for the sake of peace. I don't want to argue. I don't want to mess our energy up. So a lot of times I keep it to myself, which also isn't a good practice. So how do you go about holding your partner accountable? What's your best way of going about doing it? And has it yielded the results that you wanted it to yield? I feel like a lot of people, especially in this day and age of people want to tell their own. I'm gonna tell my truth and manipulating facts and reality. That it's very difficult to hold people accountable now. But deep down in our hearts, we know what's right and wrong. We know when we've done something wrong. And as adults, as old as most of us are, most of us watching right now, I'm assuming over 30 years old. I'm gonna say at least over 30. And we know right from wrong. We know when we've done someone wrong or done something wrong to someone. So it shouldn't be that difficult to say, you know what, I was wrong, and I'll try my best to correct that behavior. But it seems like a lot of people still have that problem, and it can really ruin a relationship. It can really What up, bad girl? Bad girl snipers in the building. Thank you so much for the compliment. God bless you. How you doing tonight? Hopefully you feeling good. Um, tonight I'm a little under the weather, not in the best of moods, but I still cut on the camera and I'm gonna do the show. What up, a BX? The great one is in the building with your Rudy Poo candy ass. What's up, BX? The great one. BX, I've had better days. I've had better days, man. I'm a little under the weather, not in the best of moods. I feel a little down. Uncle Deep V moved out today, and you know, it's a huge, it's a huge shift for him, and it's a huge shift for me. We've been to side by side for his whole life, you know. So just a long day, a long day. So yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to drift back in it. That was the opening of the show. Oh, also make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you support the community. Join the community. Support the positivity. Promote the positivity. All that good stuff. So yeah, why? When it comes to relationships, how do you go about holding your partner accountable? If anybody want to jump in and have that conversation with me, um, damn. Damn, man, my brother announced. Yeah, bro. You know, I mean, I know y'all have known me and Eric over the last 10 years, but 9 years. But me and Eric have been side by side. We done went through everything together. Everything. When I say everything, everything. So yeah, it's a sad day for me. It is. I can't even put it no other way. It's just a sad day for me. All right. All right, there's the link, bad girl. Yeah, so shout out to Uncle DV. The show as y'all knew it, like now that he's like not even living here no more, that aspect of the show is completely, is that part of the show is over now. And I know how I am and I know how he is. And I think the space will actually do us some good. Hopefully once he gets adjusted, he'll be willing to come on to the show and be on the show with us. I think us having a little distance between us might actually do us some good. Sometimes distance can make the heart grow fonder. So I'm hoping that after the conversation we had today, I feel like it'll definitely help. I'm gonna go see his crib on Wednesday, help him put some furniture and stuff together. But I also, on the flip side of it, I also feel a sense of accomplishment, because I've invested a lot of my time, a lot of my energy, a lot of my love, a lot of my efforts, a lot of my decisions have always been with him in them. And I feel like my job is done. I tried to do the best I possibly could in some unfavorable situations. And hopefully he'll be able to take all the experiences that we've had and use them to his benefit now that he's gonna go ahead and step out there on his own. But yeah, so how do you go about holding your partner accountable? And have you tried to hold your partner accountable and it blew up on you? Cause Lord knows this done blew up on me. Yo, it's done blew up on me plenty of times. Pause. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Oh man, it's done blew up on me. So how do you go about holding your partner accountable? Has it blown up on you? What was the uh-oh, hold on, what's going on here? Oh wait a minute, I gotta turn my give me a second. I gotta turn the what up, Rich Hunter? What's going on, my brother? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. All right, we're gonna bring on we're gonna bring the first lady. You said blew up in me. Nah, I said I said it blew up on me. Pause. All right, we're gonna bring the first lady of the WCIS into the stream. All right, let's go ahead. She knocking on the door. All right, let's bring in Badgurl Sniper, bring it into the stream. What up, Badgurl? Welcome to the stream.
Hey, it's been a minute since I've been on here, so I thought I'd come hang out tonight.
All right, good to have you. What up, Rich Hunter? What's going on, my brother? How you doing tonight, Badgurl? Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing really good. Really good.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to before we get into the topic for tonight, we're gonna give a shout out to Uncle DV. So you've been watching since day one. What's one of your favorite Uncle DV moments?
Oh man, that's so hard. There's so many moments with him that are my favorite, but the ones that stick out for me the most are his raps that he would do.
Okay.
Like I loved Turn Up Thursday because I knew that he'd always have a rap prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And they were either funny or serious or sad or, you know, whatever that they were just always really good and cheered me up. And he has a great laugh.
All right.
I always remember his laugh.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sitting there, me and Eric done damn near made whole albums sitting here.
It's true.
Just put the beat on and make a whole. We done made albums that's better than some of your favorite artists, especially these new artists that's out here
Absolutely.
today.
Absolutely.
So,
and you can't forget the Hogan story, of course.
Exactly. Don't forget Silky Hogan. Him versus Hev rapping. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right. So, Badgurl, last episode we was talking about accountability. We were talking about accountability in general, you know, and tonight we're talking about accountability. Well, since you wasn't on the show Tuesday, I guess we can go back and you can give me your understanding and your expectation of being able to hold someone accountable. What's the pros and cons of it? At what point did you understand how important and vital it is? And then we can move into the holding each other accountable when it comes to relationship conversation. All right. So when was the first time you really looked at yourself and said you had to hold yourself accountable for something? What was the outcome? And when did you have to hold someone else accountable? And what was the outcome?
I would say, you know, I always try and hold myself accountable whenever there's like a disagreement or someone points out something that I did or said that might have offended them. I'm always really good about holding myself accountable. But a time that stuck out for me was probably when I was having an argument with my siblings.
Okay.
And they're both older than me. And so they were trying to give me some words of advice and I just didn't want to hear it. And I was kind of being a brat about it. And when they were trying to talk to me, I just kept talking over them because I just didn't want to hear what they were saying. And eventually I hung up on them. And then I called them back and apologized and took responsibility for, you know, what I said, that I was being closed-minded because I didn't want to hear the truth.
Okay. That's what I
But
was going to ask you. Was what they were telling you, was it true?
yes,
Okay.
they were correct. I was just being stubborn.
And
But
what did you learn from that? What do you think, what did you learn from it, and what do you think people in general can learn from holding themselves accountable?
so for me in that situation, I learned that I need to be more open-minded, and instead of just hearing what people are saying, to actively listen to what they're saying. Because you can just sit there and listen to somebody, but the whole time you're thinking about, okay, how am I going to respond to what they're saying? Versus active listening, where you're listening to them to hear what they have to say. And so that's something I'm definitely more mindful of now. And I also realized that when you take responsibility for what you did wrong, people admire that better than somebody who, some people think that, their pride will get in the way and they'll be like, oh, I can't admit to that because that makes me look bad. When it's actually more admirable for somebody to humble themselves and say, look, I was wrong and I'm sorry.
Right. Being able to humble yourself and have humility
Yes.
is so important, and I think that is one of the most important things, being able to hold yourself accountable. um I think that's one of the most important things that it gives to a person, or you can give to yourself, is being able to say I was wrong, and then also being able to learn from it. And the most important part is to become better. If you can't see your flaws, you can't fix them. And if you feel as if there's nothing to fix, then you can never become better, because you already feel like I know it all and I'm perfect and I don't need any kind of correction. And we all know that that's not true. No one
Right.
is above correction. No one.
Right. That's a very toxic mindset to have, because anybody who achieves greatness, they have to hear criticism.
And they also have had to fail.
Yes, and you have to fail in order to get better, because if you just go from 0 to 100, you're going to miss all that's in between.
Right.
So, and also a lot of times people who are just born with success and born with money are your least humble people.
Of course. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then when tragedy does hit, when something unfortunate hits, if you've gone from 0 to 100, you're not going to know how to fix it, because you never faced any adversity.
Exactly.
So when the
Exactly.
adversity finally hits you, you're not going to know what to do. It may, for someone who has had to fight and struggle, when adversity hits them, they shrug it off. They
Right.
get right back up the next day and figure out, okay, how do we fix this? When you go from 0 to 100 and adversity finally hits you, it might knock you down for a year and you won't know what to do,
Right.
you know? And all of that does stem from being able to hold yourself accountable and
Yes.
and improve on the things that someone is telling you, that that they can see where some type of error in your ways. So now, on the flip side of the question, when was the last time you had to hold someone else accountable, and how did it go? Did they receive it correctly? Do you feel like you delivered the message correctly? And what was the message that you was trying to convey?
So recently, actually, I had a conversation with my ex, and it was actually a really good conversation. He kind of was sharing with me about his life and everything, and his fiance, and I had asked him if she had seen any of the messages that I had sent her, because when everything first happened, I wasn't super nice. And then I asked him if she realized that I didn't know about her when I was posting about him on Instagram. Like, I didn't know she existed. And he said, yes, she knows that. And, we kept, talking about other things. And then he said, yeah, it was nobody's fault. It's in the past. And then I kind of just was quiet. And he goes, well, no, it was probably all my fault. And I was like, yeah, it kind of was a lot your fault. But he heard what I had to say as well, and it was a really good conversation because in the past we were never able to have conversations like that where he would take accountability, but it shows that how much you can grow in your friendships when someone's willing to be accountable for what they did and apologize, and it's genuine. It's a genuine apology, and then you can move on from it and move forward and not be bitter and hateful. And a lot of times people's pride gets in the way. They're so prideful that they are not willing to hear anything from anybody, any other perspective of what they may be doing wrong, because they're right and that's it in their mind.
Very true. Very, very true. And it's good that you were able to hold him accountable and he didn't try to fight you back on it.
No, definitely not. Yep.
That's a great thing.
Yep.
That's really wonderful. All right, so we got somebody else knocking on the door. All right, which is great because last show was me and Jay Clay talking about these topics, and now it's good to kind of hear it and try to see it from a woman's point of view. So we got Badgurl here with me, and now we got Jersey Devils in the building. We're gonna bring Jersey Devil into the stream. All right, what up, Jersey? How you doing? What's going on, Jersey? I don't know if you can hear me. I see that your mic is still muted.
Oh, hey, yeah. Okay.
What's going on, Jersey? How you feeling? Welcome to the stream.
Good. What's going on, y'all?
Wonderful.
Not a lot.
All right. So the topic we talking about tonight. We talking about accountability. Last stream, I know you was on there last stream. I don't know if Badgurl was I know she didn't see, I don't know if she saw the whole stream last time, but we were talking about accountability and being able to hold people accountable and holding yourself accountable. So what up, Laura Guitars in the building? I love you, baby. Not like I love my guitar. What up, Laura Guitars in the building? All right, my purple family. So Jersey, I'm gonna pose the same question to you. All right. Last time you had to hold yourself accountable about something, what was the result? And the last time you had to had to hold someone else accountable, how did you go about doing it? Did you get the result that you wanted? And what did you learn from doing that? And what did the person that you were holding accountable, did you feel like they learned anything from it? Or do you feel like you was just talking to be talking and it didn't really get anywhere? So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I hold myself accountable every day, from how I interact with others, my actions, how I go about my day, things that I say I'm going to do. I try my best to do it. So I think before I started grad school, I had to reevaluate how I hold myself accountable and what does that look like? And then what would be the consequences that I had for myself if I didn't? And so I had to get really strict about that in both my professional and personal life in order to successfully, become a doctor. And so I think that I had to get control of fast, as well as learn how to successfully hold myself accountable every day in order to be able to counsel others or provide therapy for others on how they can hold themselves accountable, both in their personal, professional, and romantic relationships. So In terms of when was the last time I held someone else accountable, I think outside of my patients, if I'm talking about in my personal life, um, when was the last time I held somebody accountable? I would say, I guess in friendship, like
Okay.
sometimes I don't always respond as fast as I would like, or other things get in the way, or I come from this military mindset where sometimes, we could be talking every single day and then go months without talking to each other. But then when you come back together, it's like nothing has changed. So, because I operate so independently, sometimes I forget to tend to my own friendships and maintaining those friendships. So when other people are hurt because, I haven't reached out or I haven't replied as fast as I would like or they would like, um, then I try to find a balance between holding myself accountable for not reaching out, but then also holding them accountable that communication is a two-way street. And so that becomes tricky because you have egos and feelings involved. And so it's not always successful, but I try to say, okay, when you said this, it made me feel like this. Or can you clarify what you meant by this? But again, when emotions are high, or especially how close you and the individual are to each other, that may not always be successful, but at least the attempt is there to be more balanced or more neutral and not come off emotionally charged.
Okay. So when you go about doing that, and this is for you too, bad girl, when you go about trying to hold people accountable, does it usually go well or does it usually go off the rails? For do you feel like most people are good at being held accountable?
No, not
what
in my
about
experience.
what
Usually
about
it
you,
goes
Jersey? You
off.
feel like most people are good at being held accountable?
I feel like they are. Um, I see it every day where, sometimes you have to get people to expand how they think about accountability and what that looks like for them and when they hold others accountable. But I feel like if you approach it in a neutral way, which again may not always be successful, but it's sort of like what's like tongue judo. There's like a really good book, and it's like the art of communication. Like, oh, okay, you said your goal was this, you wanted to do that. How are your actions now putting you further or closer to that goal? And so it gets people to critically think on accountability and what that looks like. But I feel like when you try your best and the attempt is there and it's earnest and, there is love behind the intent, that people are more open to say, oh, okay, I did say this, and that's not putting me closer to what I wanted to attain. So how can I reevaluate this? Because a lot of people haven't been held accountable or even practice holding themselves accountable. So when they're hearing it for the first time, it's a fine line you have to walk because now their ego and their emotions and they're defensive. So it's a fine line, a balancing act between getting them to realize what accountability looks like, to be able to hold themselves accountable, and for them not to take offense to how you communicate with them about that accountability.
Right. And I think you said something really important. You said most people are not used to being held accountable, and that's why I think most people have such a hard time with it. Most people are not used to being held accountable. So until they have someone to really take time and show them what accountability looks like, I feel like they always struggle with it. Because a lot of times people, if they don't, a lot of times I feel like people don't even hold themselves accountable. So there's no way that they can show and teach someone else how to hold themselves accountable. So now you in this terrible cycle of pointing fingers and no one being able to say, okay, this was my fault, this is where I could have did something better. Everyone is just like, no, it's not me, it's you, or no, it's not me, it's you. And I think that if you have someone to help show you what accountability looks like, then I think the process of learning it and holding yourself accountable is easier. But if you don't have someone to show you or tell you, I think it's difficult for most people. And I'm not sure how many people have that in their lives. I think a lot of people had to learn it on them on their if you learned it on your own, God bless you. Cause I think I had to learn it. Did someone teach either one of y'all accountability, or did you learn it on your own? I kind of felt like I learned it on my own.
I learned it on my own, I feel.
What about you, Jersey? You felt like you learned it on your own, or somebody actually sat down and taught you? Because
A little bit of both.
definitely feel like I learned it on my own.
I think when I was younger, I learned accountability on my own somewhat, but it wasn't until I joined the military that it was really like honed in on actions have consequences. And when there's an action, there is a reaction that you can't always plan. So it was just a little bit of both of learning the best I could on my own, being on my own at such an early age. And then when I went into the military, it was all about accountability and leadership. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I learned in high school. Like, I went to a small charter high school, and the teachers and the principal were all about integrity and accountability and being a good person overall. And so, I learned that not just from watching my teachers and how they, would hold themselves accountable, but also the importance of it and them talking about it and having respect and things like that were really stressed on at that school. So I think a lot of my good traits come from my high school experience.
Okay, cool. Now, but I want y'all to hold on to your thoughts because we're about to bring in my main man, the fourth hostman, Ashy. Larry's knocking on the door. Ashy Larry's about to come into the building. What up, Ashy Larry? What's going on, bro?
What's going on, Tove, Badgurl, Jersey?
Hey,
All right, damn. We got some
love the avatar.
originals here.
Yeah, I was coerced into coming in tonight because somebody's sitting by my side here. Tell me you better get on. Well, sitting by my side in the virtual world. Excuse me. Let me get that clear.
All right, Ashy Larry. So I want to pose the same question to you, my brother. But actually, before I gotta ask Jersey this question too. Before we even get into that question, what's your favorite Uncle DV moment? And I seen in the comments that you said, did he move far away? Now he's here in the Bronx, so he didn't move far away. But
Okay,
to answer that
cool.
question, I know I didn't answer it when you wrote it.
No, that's
But
cool.
yeah, same thing for you, Jersey. Your favorite Uncle DV moment before we get into the next phase of the conversation. Favorite Uncle DV moment, Ashy Larry.
I'll let-
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hear you.
Oh, you know what? My favorite, which I told you about like a month ago, was that cinnamon challenge. I think that's one of my favorite.
That was
Between
hilarious.
both him and Head. Yeah.
Please tell me that's on video.
It's
Yes,
on
it is.
YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, I
somewhere.
need to find that clip.
What about you, Ashy Larry?
That was funny. I mean, because I watched that in the hot pepper challenge. Oh my god, that was so
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
I
And
think we was
of
calling the
course,
pepper the little devil dick.
yeah, little devil dick. And I mean, just the general interaction every week. I mean, when you guys were like doing the show every day, during the weekday, it was just fun, Especially, I think I heard Bad Girl say like the Turn Up Thursdays. I
Yeah.
mean, just showed you guys, having fun every day. Nobody's tripping, just having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Uncle DV. All right, Ashy Larry, same question for you, my brother. Last time you had to hold yourself accountable, last time you held someone else accountable, what were the results that you got from it? And then we're gonna move into holding your partners accountable. I wanna kind of like flip the script and ask the question and have the ladies answer from the male's point of view and the men answer from the ladies' point of view. But first, let's answer your question, Ashley Larry. Last time you had to hold yourself accountable, and
Well,
how did you learn to hold yourself accountable? Just like I asked Jersey and Badgurl, did you learn it on your own or did someone teach you? Because for
well, it
me,
was
my
on my
aunt
own. Yeah,
learned on
like
your own. My aunt tried to teach me accountability, but it wasn't like a deep dive into exactly what it was all about. Her teaching me accountability was Tovi. a hard head make a soft ass.
Oh yeah,
That was it.
that was my father's
Okay, I
favorite
guess.
saying.
But yeah, you could go ahead and answer the question, Ashley Larry.
Well, we got into it on the last show. When I had my little health crisis. It's
Right.
just learning to take care of yourself, eat right, things like that. That was a very eye-opening experience. And if I didn't change my ways, I'd be 6 feet under already.
Right.
So, just different day-to-day things, making sure I'm doing the right thing here, doing the right thing there. Probably the only thing that saved my life is what the doctor said. It was the fact that I've never drank or smoked in my life. So, that could have been a
That-
detriment to, just all my other health issues that I was having. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Just change the way I'm eating, try to be around for everybody. As far as like anybody else holding everybody else accountable, that's really not my style. I just let people do what they do, let them be what they want to be. And then I just take it from there.
Okay. So, bad girl, what do you think about holding? Okay, I said I wanted to do it from the other perspective. So, as a young lady like yourself, do you feel? Do you feel? And if you do feel this way, why do you feel like it's hard for a man to hold himself accountable? And same question for you, Jersey. We're gonna, and then me and Ashley Larry will answer it from the flip side of it. Of why do you feel like it's hard for women to hold themselves accountable from time to time? So, Jersey and Badgurl, why do you feel like it's hard for men to hold themselves accountable at times?
Maybe pride. I know with my dad, that was always his issue. Accountability, like his guilt as not being the kind of father that he should have been. So it could stem from maybe guilt, or if you're a very prideful person.
Yeah.
And men who fail at something, quote, fail, are looked down on by society, I feel.
Right.
So there's a pressure for them to always be on point and on top and doing the right thing. So maybe that could be part of it, or some just were never taught good morals.
Okay. I could agree with a lot of those points. What about you, Jersey? Why you think it's hard for men to hold themselves accountable from time to time?
Um, I think, of course, that would depend on that particular person and their situation. But a lot of the times, I think not holding yourselves accountable or holding yourselves accountable serves a purpose. And so, if not holding yourself accountable because you're, you know, making excuses that you have to do this one more thing, or doing this provides for you and your family, so you start making those allowances to not hold yourself accountable. So I think for a lot of times, like, men, not to say they're simpler in a negative way, but it's mostly to take care of them, their family, life, limb, eyesight, that type of stuff. So not holding yourself accountable provides you in some way, shape, or form, then it's easier to allow yourself not to go down that road, or not to hold yourself accountable, to in order to attain that gain that you feel you need in your life. And then also, like Batgirl was saying, that sometimes it is a pride issue, because you're providing for yourself or your family, or you feel like you have to do these things in order to, again, provide for yourself or your family. Then other people suggesting that you're not holding yourself accountable, or nitpicking, or coming at you in either of those areas, could feel as personal attacks. So it's easier to get defensive and angry than it is to acknowledge that there is some accountability to be had on both sides.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Um, I think the point you and Baggerl both made up, I mean, not made up, brought up, is that pride factor I think it plays a huge part in not wanting to hold ourselves accountable as men. But Ashley Larry, so now we're gonna flip it. Why do you feel like it's hard for women to hold themselves accountable from time to time?
Really can't speak to that because I mean I'm not a woman, but I think you guys already touched on it. Pride is probably some of it. I mean, as far as just like in general, I think people just want to do what they want to do, and they want to. I said this in the last stream. You know, they want to do what they want to do. They want to feel like they're in charge of their lives. You know, we have jobs, we have spouses. You know, we're always making compromises as to things that we do in our everyday life. You know, if there's something that we can control, we just do as we please. That's just kind of how I feel about it.
Okay. Um, I feel like it's hard for men to hold women accountable or women to hold themselves accountable from time to time because most of the time I think a lot of no, I don't want to say most of the time, but a lot of time women are being lied to. Men are not being completely honest with them at all times. A lot of times men and women are telling other women and men are telling other women what they want to hear to get what they want out of them. It's much easier to deal with someone and speak to them earnestly and honestly when you don't want anything from them. So if you're dealing with a woman and you don't want to sleep with her, you don't want anything from her, it's very easy to be honest and be genuine with what you have to say. And if you feel like she's wrong, you hold her accountable and say that was dead wrong. And most of the time when men are dealing with women, it's because they want something from them. So they're not willing to be completely honest and tell the God honest truth about how they really feel. So it kind of is like the man's fault because it kind of leads women down this road of yeah, I could be but even when I'm wrong, I'm still right because no one ever holds me accountable. And I think that's why it's difficult in relationships for a man to hold a woman accountable because most of the time women are not being told the truth. I think most men, and even with women, I don't think women hold each other accountable. I feel like not all, but I think a lot of times women are just like, that's right, girl. It's okay. It's all right for you to cheat. He probably cheating too. That's not the right advice to give to that woman as another woman. It's not right to cheat, but he probably cheating too, so it's all right. No, it's not all right. But most of the time, instead of causing conflict, most women will tell each other what they want to hear instead of being honest and saying, "Girl, you should be better than that. You shouldn't have did that. That's dead wrong." Because if you're not used to being held accountable, then that's going to cause friction in the relationship or the friendship that you have with each other. So I think that's why it's hard to hold. That's one of the reasons. That's the first thing that came to my mind is why it's difficult to hold a woman for men to hold women accountable in relationships. We got to start off being honest and stop lying to get what we want. So it's
Right.
kind of like the man's fault too, and and also as the people who are raising the children, like Badgurl and Jersii, and all of us said we don't think nobody really taught us how to be accountable. We had to kind of learn it on our own. I think it's
Hmm.
it's the parents' job to teach the children how to be accountable, and we just said nobody taught none of us. So it gotta be that's not a recipe for success. If the parents are not teaching the children how to be accountable, and if our parents, we're older, if our parents didn't teach us, we know damn well the younger generation parents is not teaching them the way they should be taught. I believe our parents, all of us, we're almost 30 and some of us is 40s, and our parents are more old school than the younger kids' parents. So if we weren't taught, imagine what the younger generation isn't being taught. What do y'all think about that?
Well, you know
Yeah,
what? Yeah, go ahead.
definitely.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, the younger generation, and I have noticed it with my nieces and nephews, is they have this mindset that life should be fair. And growing up, that is not what I was taught. Can't even count how many times I was told by my parents, life's not fair. That's the way it is. Life isn't fair. But, and my sister does a pretty good job. She's pretty stern when it comes to that. But, my niece, Allie, will tell me stories about her friends and how unfair their parents are and that they should accommodate them. It's like this idea that everything should cater to you and your emotions. And if it hurts your feelings, it should change. And I think that's detrimental that
Yeah.
kids don't know how to hold themselves accountable for things. Because you need to learn it as you're young in minor situations so that when you're an adult and living in the real world, you can handle bigger situations better.
Right. I see so many videos on YouTube where it's people that are 25, 26, 27, 35, 36, 37. And I'm flabbergasted at the fact that they could do something that's completely in the wrong. I sometimes I go down the YouTube rabbit hole and I'll watch I like watching clips of people getting pulled over by the cops for like driving drunk and stuff. And I can watch 10 videos and maybe one person will be like, yeah, I was dead wrong and I could have killed people
Mm-hmm.
tonight. So yeah, I deserve it. The other 9 is like, my house is right there though. I only had one drink though. My kid has a seatbelt on. Nothing's gonna happen. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. These are adults. I'm like, how can you not see the error in your ways in those situations? You could kill people by doing this, and they refuse to hold themselves accountable. And I'm talking about grown ass people, and it saddens me to my heart because when you wrong, you wrong. Like that's it. You wrong. You dead wrong. Just accept it. And I see it so many times. It's like the young.
It's like
And
they're afraid to be ashamed, but it's not shameful to be wrong. It's more shameful to make excuses and not own up to what you are doing because nobody's responsible for the things that you say or you do.
that's
The
true.
only person who is responsible for your actions is you. You can't blame it on somebody else. And, to point out about male and female, even though they're children, my niece and nephew react completely different when they've been pointed out what they did was wrong. My nephew, he seems to be more sad that he disappointed his mom or
Mm-hmm.
me.
Okay.
My niece is more, it's like a challenge. And she's frustrated and upset with my sister because she wants to be right. So instead of,
That's a
my
touchy subject.
nephew, my nephew, he's more like, I'm sorry, and he's sad and disappointed in himself. My niece is more of she likes to be, the nice way to say it, a leader, and she'll get more like emotional and frustrated to prove herself right of why what she did was right versus okay that I was wrong.
Right. Do
There's
you
reasons. She has all these reasons of why it's okay. So
Jersey, do you see from your point of view, men and women react to accountability differently?
Um, Definitely. I think
What?
even just societally, we've not had to hold ourselves accountable as a people, as a race. Just a very short term history. We still see this back and forth between men and women, and within amongst men, amongst women. From where we were in society, from owning people, we've not had to take accountability from that, from systemic laws that were put into place. There's been a lack of accountability, and there's just been this general acceptance between it's acceptable if you have, but it's not acceptable if you don't have. And so, even fast forwarding with women and being assaulted, right? It was what were you wearing? What were you doing? And so, there was a lot of um, accountability being brought up in the terms of accusatory, where now the person that is being held accountable or being asked to be held accountable always has to defend, right? So it's like in the courtroom when you're being accused or talked to, it's always from a defense standpoint. So I think our relationship with accountability as a people has had this sort of shady, gray, dark past. But now we're in the era of mental health and more awareness and self love and accountability. So I think we are learning how to be more stable adults, to hopefully raise more emotionally regulated and stable children, and then start to develop a healthy relationship with accountability and our roles in, our past and present situations. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts of accountability. And I definitely see it in its different relationships between the two genders on how they've developed their relationship with accountability and then what it looks like now from a healthier definition and relationship.
All right, so give me an example of how from what you've observed.
So
How you like if you hold a in your opinion, you're holding a young man accountable. How would he react differently than a young woman, or vice versa?
so a lot of times, like when you're talking to men, um, it has to be framed in a way that it's not a dig at their masculinity or their availabilities to provide or take care of themselves or their definition of what manhood is or being a man. So you have to approach it in a way that is empowering, but also is not demeaning or degrading, which of course you wouldn't do. But sometimes we have these
You know, of
sayings
course you
and
wouldn't do.
no, I'm saying, of course, hopefully you wouldn't degrade
Hopefully, yes.
someone.
Hopefully, people wouldn't do.
It happens. I mean, we
Yeah.
all know toxic relationships. It happens, but hopefully, when you're trying to hold someone accountable, it's not in a degrading way. But I was saying that we have these sayings in our language that we are now learning are offensive or have been more offensive, and so people can take offense to like a simple saying or something. So that's in my experience from men. Um,
I agree with you. I really agree with you what you said.
And then for women, I feel like accountability has to be more emotionally based, where you have to be more supportive. And it's not lying, but it's not so blunt. Like with men, I feel like you can be blunter. With women, it has to be, very emotionally based. And, okay, I'm not going to say you're dead wrong, but let's take the scenic route to figuring out how you were wrong in this situation.
I respect your honesty
Let's take a journey.
because
Let the
you
woman
still,
figure out what she did was wrong by going over the situation.
Like, give me the
even with you trying
context,
to explain it, you still sugarcoating it.
right?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, when you're talking with your boo and you like giving them the context, giving them the story, and you have this oh shit moment. I was wrong. But you had to arrive there on your own because somebody telling you, you're defensive. But if you retelling the story and now you see it yourself, for women, they're
Mhm.
more apt to believe it then. Versus with men, if I say don't touch that, it's hot and whatever, they won't touch it because, women, you got to let them feel that it's warm a little bit. You got to, talk about it, explain it, let them arrive to that conclusion.
Right. And
Very true.
I once again, I agree with you on 100%. And that's something that I had to learn how to, as a man, I definitely had to learn how to navigate that type of communication, because I was having this conversation with somebody and I told them the truth can't be wrong. And they was like, yeah, but the truth can hurt people's feelings. I said, yeah, but it still can't be wrong. And if what the person is telling you is true, it's true. Like, you just got to accept it for what it is. It's the truth. And that is the truth. If it's the truth, it can't be wrong. It's the truth. You can't make it wrong if it's true. But as I've gotten older, I realized that sometimes you got to massage the truth. You can't just hand the truth to everybody. Some people, the truth you can't just hand to. You gotta slip it into their you gotta slip it into their pocket while they not watching or something. Because
Gently.
yeah, you have
Yes.
to gently allow them to see the truth, and gently allow them to see the truth, or gently allow them to hear the truth. Where before, when I was younger, I was just like, nah, that's not true. This is what it is, and that's what it is, and
Mhm.
I'm not budging. I'm not seeing it no differently. It is what it is. And although I was right, I realized that I was also wrong. You know, I also realized that I was right in what I was saying, but I was wrong in my approach.
Could
And
be, but I think that's with anyone too. Like
huh?
there, like what you were saying, the truth is black and white. It has no sides. The truth is the truth. But
Yeah.
everyone has a different perception based on their own experiences of what they know to be true. And so you could provide them with all the evidence sometimes and why it's this way, forwards and backwards all day long. But if their perception of reality is different, fundamentally different, then no matter how you present the truth, it's just going to be a hard pill for them to swallow.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I can't disagree with that.
That's a
And
good
if I
point.
was just talking to, Joe Schmo or Jane Schmo, I would just accept it. Like, okay, they just don't understand from my, they're not understanding from my point of view. They're not realizing, their perception is not on the same level as mine. So I'm not going to continue
Right.
to waste my time. But if it's somebody that I'm in a relationship, if it's somebody that I care about, if it's somebody that I love, then I can't just say, oh, well, you just don't get it. No, I have to fight a little bit harder in those situations because I want what's best for that person. I want them. I'm not that I want them to see it my way, but I want them to be able to see it in a different way than maybe they have always seen it. And then once they can see that there's a different path, now it's on them to kind of like slowly walk down that path and say, "Oh, okay, I understand it now." And if you just chalk it up to, well, they just, believe what they believe, and that's their perception, and I'm just going to leave it alone. Sometimes you're leaving a lot of valuable lessons on the table for people that you love or people that you care about. Now, if you don't love or care about them, oh well, I'm not going to. A wise man told me not to argue with fools. But if it's somebody that you care about, I think that you should fight. Not you, but I feel like I have to fight a little bit harder in those situations
Right.
because I care for that person differently than if I'm just having a conversation with somebody that I don't really know very well and we just disagree. I'm like, oh well, we disagree to disagree and move on, and I won't really stress it.
But I think even in relationships, it has to be healthy. There's some things that you could say, oh, okay, you see it your way, I see it my way, no harm, no foul. But on some of the bigger issues, then it's okay, I strongly feel A and you strongly feel B. And even though you understand me and I understand you, we still have a very different um, opinion, or we arrive to this very, left or right conclusion. And so there lies very crucial conversations and important conversations on,
Absolutely.
can we still proceed together with these two opposing views on this issue after, coming to it rationally and having very adult grown up conversations? Then there's a conversation to be had. If our beliefs are so separate, can we proceed together or continue to proceed together?
Depending on what it is that has caused the separation, um, I put you don't have to be on the same page, but we have to be at least in the same book.
Right.
You
But
know,
sometimes you could be on the same
in
page
two
in
different
different
books.
books.
Yeah, two. Sometimes people are in two different books, and when you're in two different books, you're going to be clashing and butting heads every turn of the page.
Well, no, because if they originally got together and they're in two different books, sometimes they may share some chapters from different vantage points.
Share some chapters from different vantage
And that's
points.
what attracted you. But as you got to read the book, then you realize that, hey, maybe we're in two separate books. We just shared a few chapters together. But if it's on the big things and everybody has their own like non-negotiable relationship
Right.
ending things.
I agree with you. But now the problem in what you just said is a lot of people are picking the book strictly by the cover. They're not reading it.
Right.
That's
And
the problem. And that's how they end up into All right, we in two different books because I picked you because of your cover and you picked me because of my cover, but neither one of us opened the book and read any pages. So now we 3-4 months into it, and now we like, oh my God, wait a minute. The cover was nice, but now that I'm starting to read the book, I realize we was in two different bookstores. You know, we in two different sections. I'm in fiction, you in nonfiction. I'm in romance, you in thriller or drama or horror. Like we in two different worlds. And that's because people are picking each other by the covers. A lot of people are not taking time to read each other's books.
And I
At
think that's
us
how
being
it's
a little bit
been.
older might be different, but in general, I think a lot of people just like, wow, she's pretty. Wow, he's hot. And then it's like, okay, we good. Let's go.
Well, I feel like too, even the older cop out that I don't like, all those like shows on Netflix about what are they on an island, Love's Island or
Oh gosh,
something.
yeah, The Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, they pick like
Mhm,
25 hot single men and
mhm.
25, and then they put you in the house hoping that you guys have sex with each other. And there's one now where there's like people with their current girlfriends, and then they invite the exes to the house
Yeah.
to serve drama. Anyway, I say all that to say the point that I'm making um, is that I think we're in like this weird, and we've talked about it before. We're in this weird time where we've come out of these feminist movements and this women liberation, and now you have some older women, which I love getting older. This mature crowd that's single, and so they're basing sharing their life out of a little desperation and lack of you know availability of men, because men older than them want women younger, and men younger, it just goes into this weird situation where you're now a cougar and everything else. Anyway, but younger, they're still peddling this um, lustful type of lifestyle. So there's not a lot of younger relationships that have healthy, one, examples, and two, where it's like, oh, well, we don't have to get to know them. We have a very a sexually charged relationship.
Mhm.
Right.
And so, and now it's just like this weird crossover between all of the generations now.
Right, because I feel like the younger generation is actually instead of the older generation influencing the younger, I feel like the younger is actually influencing the older.
Yeah.
I think is been completely turned upside down. And this is where I will say, and I completely see women in the world that we live in now, women are more influential than men.
Right.
Women are more influential than men are in this day and age because the men, especially the younger ones. Now, somebody my age, I don't know, not so much. But I'm talking about men that are 30 and below. They're as men, we're gonna follow the women. Wherever the women are at in mass, that's where the men want to be. So if all the women are on TikTok, then that's where the men are genuinely going to follow. If all the women are opening up an OnlyFans page, that's where the men are going to follow. So women are influencing so much, and it's if men are living in the energy of women, then that also is going to cause chaos within relationships.
But I think it's been like that. I don't know when the shift happened, don't quote me, but it
With the
was
internet, I could tell you
well,
when. With
that,
the
but
internet,
also like even in whatever the magazines were, like 17 magazine or something, they would always try to market towards teenage girls, because teenage girls bring teenage boys. And so you're going to capture two crowds with
right?
one stone, just aiming at the girls. But then you get sort of those, like you were saying too, like the younger uh women with tight skin, everything. You put them in the commercials, the shiny hair, and then as an aging woman, you say, oh, okay, if she has shiny hair, I want shiny hair, I'm gonna buy that product. So you have the younger generation influencing the older, and of course, in that crowd, right, where the women go, they now have the men or whatever that pay for it. So it's always been kind of this, I mean, not always, but more recently we've shifted towards marketing to teenage girls or in their 20s and 30s women.
Right. It's been, yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely been recently, because if you go back in the days, the marketing wasn't so much towards women, because women didn't have the money and the spending power and the financial status
Well,
that they do now.
I would say
The
there
men
was.
had most of the money, so you market towards the men.
I would say it was marketing towards women, but they were very stereotypical gender type marketing. You had for women, it was what makeup and home appliances, but everything that was thrusted forward, I agree, was working men and briefcases and all of these
Right.
glamorous jobs you can have. And that was
Right.
all men based.
The world we live in now, everything is marketed pretty much towards. I sit on Sunday and watch football. And even while I'm watching football, the commercials during the football games have more women selling stuff than men.
Do you feel like even in married couples in today's age, do I think society thinks or knows that women or is saying that women have the household and the money, control the money in the household, married, unmarried, whatever. But I feel like a lot of the commercials are targeted towards women because women are, they spend their money if they're married. There's this assumption that you have
Right.
your money and the house, like, and his money. You are the money spenders.
Right. It goes back to what you were saying earlier. You said you didn't want to sound offensive, but men are simple.
Yeah.
Men are not going. If you give a man, if he has a nice big TV, a nice car, and maybe a nice big grill in the backyard, he's good. Like, ain't that he good? Like, he got most of the, it's not much more he needs to spend on. Is men are more in particular exactly what they want, where commercials will sway women to buy things that they don't even need. So yeah, I think that the marketing
Man.
is definitely aimed at
And
women,
half the
because
time, what do they be selling? Like you rolling around at the beach. I'm seeing you like, I don't know, sand in between your toes and your bra. And then like a minute later, I find out it's perfume. Get out of
Right?
here.
right. So yeah, like, yeah, everything is being targeted towards women, like things that women usually don't sit down and watch a lot of football. Like, you don't think on football Sunday you're gonna see 10 women in the living room all gathered around the TV watching football with beers in their hands. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but that's not the first image that you think of
No.
football Sunday. But if you sit down and watch the commercials, it's more women trying to sell me stuff than it is men. But although it's majority men watching that game, and they know that this is the time when men are watching TV, but everything is pretty much targeted towards women. And where the women go, we know men will follow.
Well, and
And
what about those Carl's Jr. commercials they used to have? Do you remember those with the bikini women?
exactly, washing
Did
the
that make you
cars
go
in the
to Carl's
bikinis.
Jr.?
Right, yeah. I mean, and obviously
No, but them burgers did though. Them things was
we all know sex
juicy.
sells. We definitely know that. But ultimately what I'm saying is, when men are living in the influence of women, it will eventually cause chaos in relationships, because once you're in that energy, it's hard to oppose it, because as a man, not me personally, but as a man, I followed you into this energy, and now that I'm here, I want to change you. I don't want you to be posting these provocative pictures. I don't want you to base everything around your sexuality and your body and how pretty you are and all this. But you can't sit there and argue with it now, because we done all followed it. It's like dating a girl that has an OnlyFans, and then you fall in love with her. You're like, baby, please quit your OnlyFans, please. Well, she's not going to quit because you followed her there. That's who you accepted her that way. You fell in love with her that way. So don't ask her to change now, because she has the upper hand over you.
Well,
But
there's
if
been like that power, that struggle of power. Because, and for men, the world pretty much is geared towards men or was set up geared towards men. And now there's this sort of shift in power, where now everything's marketed, or not everything, but mostly it's marketed towards women to get the women to pay attention, because you have moms
Hmm.
who run that household, you have wives, girlfriends, right? And like you said, where women go, men follow, because that's, or if that's your
nature,
intended audience. Yeah, and so now it's like, okay, we are assuming that women control the finances in the household. And so if now we're catering towards women, we're marketing towards women, we're now saying, oh, we're not holding women accountable or ourselves or each other, and it's all about getting that bag or doing whatever, then you just have each, even the older, but the next generation seeing that ruthlessness. And then you have, just that younger crowd getting on social media, getting these TV shows, and it's becoming the trend to like Blueface and Krishan Rock.
right?
That's what's being pushed in our face, these
That's like
toxic
relationship
relationships
goals.
with no accountability at all.
Right. They slapping each other in the face, spitting in each other face, then go have sex in the car, then come out, do an interview, then get high, then get drunk,
Right?
then
And
go do a video, go do a podcast. And it's like, this can't be what this can't be representate this can't be our representation of relationship or love. And then on top of that, she's having babies.
And that's what's being pushed between that and Love and Hip Hop. Even on some of the country shows, it's just becoming the trend to be as toxic as possible and post about it. Or, that's what success looks like,
Right.
or
And to
when
bring
it's
it
being packaged.
full circle, when people are achieving success like that, how can you hold them accountable?
Not if you're telling them that's how they're going to
Right.
feed
You're telling
themselves
them,
or their
yeah,
family.
you're literally telling them, no, this is the way to be successful. So therefore, now you can't hold anybody accountable, because the things that we use, shame has been thrown out the window.
Right.
No
Oh,
one is ashamed to say or do anything. So if you can do things that are shameful and be rewarded for it and become a millionaire for it, then now you can't hold anyone accountable, because the things that we used to sit and say, wait a minute, are you literally selling yourself for money? You're selling sex for money?
and the
Yeah.
laws haven't
And now it's like, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. It's like,
The
Lord have mercy.
With a lot of this social media, it creates a lot of this gray area. So the laws haven't caught up. And so when they don't see them legally being held accountable, then you start to say, okay, well, if I'm doing the right thing and living like this, and you doing that and living like that, what you gonna do at the end of the day if it means your survival?
Yeah, I get you. I understand. And that's why so many people are doing it. So that's, like I said, that brings the conversation full circle. When people are doing dastardly, devilish things and being rewarded for it, then there is no such thing as accountability anymore. And I think that that is the world that we're living in. People are changing the truth. They are rearranging reality just so they don't have to be held accountable. Now it's to the point where we will change, not we, us, but people will change the truth, change reality, so they can't be held accountable. And it's like, what? Are you serious? Like, yeah, I am now a woman, and you shall address me as such. And it's like, no, I gotta hold you accountable. You're not a woman. You're a man. No, I'm a woman. And the world is getting to the point where it's like, no, Tovi, he is a woman. So then once we live in that world, there is no more accountability. Accountability is gone now, because now we're actually changing truth. We're changing facts.
Or when it's time to take accountable, everybody has this sort of
Take a
8-piece
sidestep.
slice pie of what accountability looks like, with these nuances and terms and this now new adjusted truth. How can you hold someone accountable to something that's completely made up or that
Exactly.
we just
They can
created,
change it however they want
right? So then
and
the
make it
truth
into
is
something
bendable.
different.
It can be unwritten, rewritten, reimagined, redefined. And so what is the truth then? It's
Right.
relative to the person presenting it as a truth, I guess.
And I think that eventually, I think that there's going to have to be a division amongst us where it's like the people who believe the truth have to be kind of like separate themselves from people who want to live in that other world of adjusted reality, because I don't think it's fair for people who want to live by the truth to have to be forced, and that's what they're literally trying to do, is force us to live in that world where we like, nah, that's not the truth though. So I don't know where accountability is headed. And all of these things definitely come back when it comes to relationships, because the people are made up of men and women, and as men and women we are attracted to one another. So if a man can't hold a woman accountable to say, look, I don't want you to, like, if I say I don't want you to post these provocative pictures, yeah, but these provocative pictures are keeping the roof over our head.
Right? Keeping the lights on, the
It's
food on
keeping
the
the lights
table.
on. So now what?
So who are you to tell
Right.
me?
So now who are you to tell me? Who are you to tell me? You living under these pictures is helping taking care of you too, my brother. So then it's like, I guess you do have a point there. So I guess it's all right. Yeah, I guess. I mean, we living pretty good. And right there, accountability and morality goes out the window for the adjusted reality. Because as a man, I don't care how much money and how many rules is putting over my head. If you're selling naked pictures of yourself, or you having sex on making sexual rendezvous with men from your OnlyFans, and you like, that's just my job, but baby, I'm in love with you. Nah,
Mhm.
I don't care how you could be a billionaire. I'm not touching you. You could be the most beautiful woman in the world. I'm not touching you.
Well,
But
let's
like I
keep
said, the
that
way everything is shifting and the men is following is going to get to the point where the men are like, well, I mean, it's not that bad.
They start to settle.
Right. She is beautiful. We all driving in this nice, beautiful car. So I guess it's all good. But I said on the stream a couple of weeks ago, I don't know exactly, but I said the devil comes to you in the disguise that he knows will fool you. He's gonna come to you in exactly what you want. Damn, she's beautiful. She got a car. She got this and that. And instead of being a real righteous man and saying, nah, I can't do it though. It's like, I guess I could throw my morals and what I really want from a woman out the window to just deal with it and settle for it. And
Well, I think
that's dangerous to me,
yeah, and I
because
think it
then
like trickles
masculinity is
down.
really going to be it's already under attack from women. It's really going to be under attack because then men are going to start to attack masculinity. We already got
And
the women attacking us. Eventually, men are going to start to attack masculinity. And that's when we're going to be in real trouble. We're already in trouble. But when men start to go against masculinity, that's when we're going to really be in trouble. Really, really, for real.
I think it's like I think we more see that again with bringing up like Blueface and Krishan. When I look at Blueface, like why are you the way that you are? And then we see his mom and the way she's acting, and I'm like, oh, okay, so we had and she's in her 40s, 50s, so we have someone of that age behaving worse than the child. And then it's like, okay, well, where is his dad? Okay, he's in the background, not really saying anything to the mom who's acting this way. So it's like, I can kind of see it. And then they're having a baby. Well, he has kids. But it's like,
Exactly.
you have your dad behaving like this on TV. So we know that's what you're seeing. And then we
Right.
see his mom behaving like that on TV. And then it's like, where are the men in your life telling you that bruh, this ain't it?
Exactly. And that brings us right back to accountability. It brings us right back. Because at some point, the father should be like, I don't care how much popularity, how many TV shows, I don't care how much this shit is bringing to our family. This shit got to stop.
Right.
This is ridiculous.
Or an uncle,
Or
or your boys,
or
or
or I want no parts of this. I'm out. Goodbye. Don't send me no check. Don't send me no money. I'll go live in a 1-bedroom apartment by myself alone before I interact and go along with this nonsense. But we're coming from such a deprived place that it's hard for us to turn down that attention and that money and that lifestyle. So as men, they just go along with it, which also is terrible. It's terrible. It's just a wicked cycle that I don't know. I'm just happy that I was born in a completely different era. I see it going on and I see how it benefits in certain ways, but I also see how it's destroying us. So I was born in an era where I could live to see both. I remember how it used to be, and now I see how it is now. So I can kind of like pick and choose the best of both of these two different worlds, like before the internet and after the internet. But the younger generation, there is going to be no accountability. And then we actually see women supporting men becoming women.
But I feel like there is accountability in this generation, but again,
Yeah.
it's that negative relationship with accountability, because we've seen it in the form of like cancel culture, and
Mhm.
now we're looking at what people posted on Twitter and trying to hold it accountable for a very different society. And so now accountability is starting to turn negative again, where it's coming from a place of accusation, maybe a place of malice, threats, maybe that you're going to be canceled or whatever that looks like. And so, you know, I think it's still finding that balance of how do you interact with yourself and the people around you with accountability in a healthy way. But as
But
a society, I see it still being peddled as a negative.
right, but usually when people are trying to cancel someone, it's because of something that they said.
That,
And you
or,
can't
like,
that's not you can't hold me accountable for how I feel. That's how I feel. I shouldn't be held accountable in a negative way because I feel differently than from what somebody else feels. And I said it out loud or wrote it or tweeted it or whatever people, whatever, however
but
they
that's
communicated it.
that's the truth.
You can't
If your belief is this, then now I'm saying, oh, you better hold yourself accountable, or I'm gonna do this, because that's not how the world views whatever anymore. And it's like, now you're telling me to hold myself accountable when I really believe this, but it's from a negative place. So how can I hold myself accountable? And now you're trying to guilt or shame me, but I'm the person who's accusing you. I'm bending what the truth is now.
right.
And
I
now
don't
I'm
think that's
doing it
true
from this.
accountability though.
No, I'm just saying that now it's like, I'm telling you that I want you to hold yourself
Accountable.
accountable on my truth, where they could be at the other side of it saying, okay, now you're accusing me of something. And so now when I look at why should I hold myself accountable, now I'm being defensive. And now
Right.
it's like, some people go so far left. Well, you're telling me to do this, and these are my beliefs. So I'm going to go off the deep end and go so far left, instead of it, trying to stay on a neutral where
I get what
you're
you're saying
open
now.
to
I get it.
the conversation.
Right. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
People but I don't believe that that's true accountability though.
No.
Because
Right. It's not.
people will get if when people are canceling people for telling the truth. I shouldn't be
Mhm.
held accountable in a negative way for telling the truth.
Well, that's not positive accountability, but I'm saying we're starting to see that now. So now people are starting to view accountability as a negative, or can view it as a negative. Because now when someone's telling you to hold yourself accountable, like, cancel culture is attached to it, threats are
Right.
attached to it,
So
accusations are attached to it.
So it's a
so let me ask
negative
you this.
now.
So let me
Right.
ask you this. Do either one of you feel like holding yourself accountable could ever be negative? Because I don't think if you are holding yourself accountable, I can't figure out or wrap my mind, my small little mind I cannot wrap it around and come up with a definition of holding yourself accountable, but it also being negative. I feel like anytime you hold yourself accountable, it is a positive thing to do. It's
So
positive. I don't
those
think
are
it
the
can be negative.
views when you have a more healthier relationship with accountability. Where I see accountability being a negative or a negative relationship, and I won't talk about anybody specifically, but when you grow up with a negative stigma attached to accountability, that's where your perception of accountability becomes negative. So then when you're holding yourself accountable, oh, I'm at this place in my life because I didn't work hard, I didn't go to school, I didn't whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
so because of that, I'm in this spot and now I feel guilt, shame, embarrassment, which causes people to do negative things. But when you start to develop a healthier relationship with accountability, it's okay, my life turned out like this because I didn't do this. But now now that I know about it, I'm aware of it, I can now shift and do this to sort
Right.
of pull myself out of the situation. So that's where I see a lot of times where accountability can be a negative for some people because their worldview, their experiences have told them that accountability was negative. And so
Right.
now they attach the shame and the guilt and the self worth and the self esteem to accountability when it's misplaced.
Right. And see, this is where my black and white mind won't allow me to see that, because the accountability may cause you to have negative feelings, but the accountability is not negative. The accountability may trigger something in you that is negative, but the holding yourself accountable part is not the negative part. It's the accountability that triggers those feelings in you. Oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I'm not living up to what I thought I would be. That may be negative to you, but that's not because of the accountability. That's the guilt or the shame or the expectations that you didn't live up to. But I don't believe that accountability is the negative trait, or
Not
is
the
the common
accountability
denominator.
itself, but it's people's relationship, their perception of what accountability means to them.
Right.
Right.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Accountability for what it is in its pure definition, can it be negative? Not
I
how can
think
it make you feel. Is holding yourself accountable a negative thing? I don't see how it could ever be negative to hold yourself accountable.
To define it, no.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying.
again, uh, not, everything is just words that we've made up. What gave laws power or policies or words is the meaning that we've attached to that. Right? So is the word stop negative or positive? It's neither. It's neutral. But the meaning when I say stop, that's what give it its power. So accountability is neither negative nor positive. It's always going to be the meaning or the perception, the power that you attach to it, we attach to it, society attaches to it. So can it be negative? It can't be anything. It's a word, right? It's only something when we attach something to it, and that's either negative or positive.
No, I no, the word, yes. I said holding yourself accountable. I'm not saying just the word. When you're holding yourself accountable, that's something that's going on within you. It's not just a word. It's an action that you're taking within yourself. It's happening. It's not just a word.
So
It's
it can
happening
be
within you.
negative.
Exactly. It can't be negative because it's happening
No,
within you.
it
You're holding.
can be. I said it
No,
can
no.
be. It
I
can
disagree.
be.
I don't believe that holding
For
yourself
some
accountable can be
people,
negative.
it you don't see, but for some people, it's a very real thing. It can be negative for them.
or they
Not.
could maybe it's like
I don't think it's
maybe
the accountability.
especially people in like the public could be afraid to hold themselves accountable
Oh, that's a good one.
because of the backlash or the outcome that comes with it now
Yeah.
versus the correct outcome, which should be, admiration and, you know, commending somebody because they're holding themselves accountable.
Yeah.
But now it's like if you hold yourself accountable, you're going to get shamed and hate messages, death threats, canceled, all these awful things. So maybe people are fearful of
Yeah.
taking
That's true.
accountability.
And
That's
more so,
true.
like those accountability statements are all the same. Like, I didn't mean to offend. I'm gonna do better. And so they're being forced to hold themselves accountable
Mhm.
as a reaction instead of it being, hey, I noticed that I tweeted this or wrote about this. I was ill informed at the time. I'm better educated. And so, like you were saying, bad girl, too, that just in public figures, that's a negative. You never hold yourself accountable in public. Um, I guess that's what's being peddled, and we've only
Right.
seen accountability from that. Um, when people get on camera, start crying, and
Mhm.
all types of silliness.
Yeah.
Right. But if you truly want to hold yourself accountable, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to do it publicly. It can be private. You don't ever have to let anyone know that you're holding yourself accountable.
Mm.
You choose to take it and make it public. You don't have to make it public whether you're a celebrity or not. You can do it privately and say, you know what, I was wrong. I'm gonna hold my. I was wrong. Hold on. Let me turn this off. I was wrong. and and I'm holding myself accountable, and this is something that I'm doing within my own being, within my own self. It doesn't have to, even if you're a celebrity, you don't have to be on Twitter. You don't have to be on Instagram. You don't
What?
have to do those
No.
things
But
What?
if
because
you
because
were,
Michael
but if you
Jackson,
were
Michael
though, and you
Jackson was
bring
the
it
biggest
up,
celebrity in the world, and there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter,
Yeah,
and he's
but
bigger than everybody ever could be today. So
that's
you
but
don't have to
just
people
do that.
an
can,
opinion, because people say if you do the crime in the public, that you should hold yourself accountable
But
in
you don't
public.
have to though. You
No, but I'm
should.
saying
That's what the crowd may
and
say,
then
but you
you'll
that's
don't
be
have to.
shamed, or you could lose your job, you could lose deals, you won't,
right.
get
Because how I
signed
know you
anymore.
did that if you ain't
People
post
won't buy your
about it?
stuff.
How I know you did the work if you don't post about it, and
No
so
one
then you
will.
still get shamed,
No
Or
one will
someone
ever
leaks
know though.
something about you,
right?
somebody who hates you
You could get
brings
on
something up.
Twitter and make a video. That still don't mean that you did the work. No one will ever know, regardless
Yeah,
if you make a video or not. They will never know. Only you and God will know. The only
True.
person that will know is you. No
true.
one else will know. So it still comes down to, you still have to do it within yourself. But even if you make a
Yes.
video or tweet it, you still got to do it yourself first. Whether people are going to believe you or not, that's on them. But you got to do it
Mm.
within yourself. So I mean, it's a great topic, like it's a great topic. I'm not saying I disagree with you. You, in the world that we live in now, yeah, you do the crime, you're kind of like forced to have to get in front of the public and hold yourself accountable for them to re-embrace you again.
Right.
For you to even have the chance for them to re-embrace you again.
Right.
So I get that point of view where y'all are coming from with celebrities or politicians or whoever it may
Or
be.
even just like TikTokers and YouTubers and
Right. So I get that point of view, but it still has to happen. You still have to hold before you pronounce it to anyone, you still have to hold yourself accountable first. It has to
Right.
happen within you first before it goes to anyone, whether it's a true or whether it's a lie.
yeah.
It still has to happen if it even does happen, or whether you're doing it for show. But I'm saying if it genuinely is going to happen, it has to happen within yourself first before you get on Twitter, before you make the video to post it out into the world. It still has to happen within yourself first. That's what
And
that's what
I feel like too, I can see how I think this is like a unique time where I can see the confusion of accountability and society in general amongst all the generations. And it's like, what does accountability look like? Because what I thought to be true 4 years ago is not true today. And, and then you have everyone trying to hold each other accountable to like these make believe rules to where, and what I thought was interesting today that I saw was like, we're trying to be more inclusive and recognize all of these genders, and men can be this and women can be this. So we want to hold ourselves accountable to create inclusive spaces. So at that college campus, they let the transgender male or transgender female enter the frat house, and then the biological women all were suing the campus. because they're like, we don't feel safe. He is biologically a man, whatever. But then you have Caitlyn Jenner, who's on the news trying to hold him accountable, the transgender female, and saying, no, you dude.
This is what
And you
happens when
should,
you try to
and it's
change reality.
crazy.
Like
It's
you just create
crazy.
more and more problems.
And so you don't know. It's like, so Caitlyn Jenner is saying that he is a man, but we're being told that he's a woman now. And so now we're being shamed to hold ourselves accountable for our closed-mindedness. But then now you have, it's so confusing. I can see how it's hard to have these like concepts of what the truth is these days, and
Right.
how can you hold yourself accountable when
Exactly.
everybody confused.
Right. But this is in closing, before I get up out of here, this is the message that I really want to convey. If you are able to hold yourself accountable, then none of those things are really that confusing.
Right.
It's not confusing to me at all. But I can understand for people who do not want to delve into themselves and really look at the world for what it is and understand what's the truth, what's not the truth, what's opinion, what's emotions, what are feelings. There are certain things that are opinions and perception. There are certain things that are facts, that are the truth. If you jump
All
off
day
a
long.
building, you're going to fall. That's the truth. There's certain things that are the truth. So for people that are confused and they're conflicted, that means that they haven't really got down and dug into accountability, because accountability should always be at the core of accountability should be, what is the problem? What is the truth of the problem? I've blinded myself to it. I don't want to see what it is, but I have to hold myself accountable. I have to see what it is. And what it is has to be true to you for you to want to change it. It got to be something true. Like, I'm holding myself accountable. Tovi, you're too stubborn. Is that true? Yes. So now I got to dig at it. I got to accept it as the truth before I can hold myself accountable. If I don't accept it as the truth, then what in the hell am I holding accountable? I'm not holding nothing accountable if I don't see it as the truth for myself. So I think at the heart, at the roots of accountability, got to be truth down there somewhere. And if who's a man and who's a woman and all these other things that they're introducing into the world now, if that's confusing you, then I think that you may be a little distant from accountability if those things are confusing you. Because I'm pretty sure to you, Jersey, or to you, Badgurl, or to me, these things may be trivial to other people, but they're not trivial to you or I. I mean, or me or you.
Right. But
You know, a woman is a woman and a man is a man. We all know that. Come on. We know that.
Yes.
We know this.
I could see how like you were saying, I think at the very core, no matter what the topic is, you have to look within yourself to say, is this true for me, about me, to me, with an absence of all external influences?
Right.
Not based on what other people are saying, what society is doing, what people have told me, only as it relates to evidence. So, oh, am I stubborn, or am I closed-minded, or whatever? Okay, maybe I am. What proof do I have? Okay, I'm short-tempered with my husband or my boyfriend or whatever. Okay, I'm not as, accepting of other people's opinions. So, I would say then, you know, with some flexibility, based on other people's opinion, use that as an example um, of, okay, here's the evidence. But in order to arrive there, or to be able to take in those opinions, we have to know what is true for ourselves. And that's grounded in our core beliefs and values. So
Absolutely.
once you have a healthy relationship with that and you've explored that, then you're better equipped to field and navigate all of these uh, external influences.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, excuse me, unfortunately, a lot of the people, a lot of the younger people, I don't think that they're properly equipped with what they need to completely navigate in these waters. It's like, I feel like a lot of people are just floating, and they're just floating along and just following the wave. Whichever the wave is going, that's the way.
Wait.
That's the way that I want to go. Because if I fight against it, they're gonna try to destroy me. You know, if I go against what the wave of people is saying, if everybody's saying no, there are now 4 genders. If I stand up and say no, it's not. I think even if other people believe that there are really only 2, but I'm on the wave now, so I can't jump off the wave and go against it. So I'm just gonna tsunami all the people that really are telling the truth, and that's where it's getting dangerous.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of
drown the
studies.
truth. The wave should not drown the truth.
There's
But
been
I
a
feel
lot
like
of
it's starting
studies
to drown
about
the truth.
it that's been interesting. But whether it's talking about genders, is the earth flat or round? I feel like that came back up recently. And so it's like, if we're able to bend the truth now, if we've always known that if you jump off a building, depending on how high it is, there's 100% chance that you won't survive. But now, it's like I can't believe people are like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know.
Right.
Is
And that's
that like, oh, I
these are
don't,
that's dangerous,
that's
Jersey. That's very dangerous.
dangerous.
That people are like, well, maybe if you jump off a building, you're going to fall. That's the truth.
Right.
You're most likely going to get really hurt too.
Well, who are you to tell me that? And maybe,
Well,
and now,
right. And
okay, well, so
that's where we living in dangerous times, and in relationships and in general, just in society in general. That's where I feel like the accountability is just going to continue to get worse and worse as people manipulate the truth. um I mean, we could continue to talk. Like, this is such a good topic because it's like it gives this is a topic that gives so much, and it can go in so many different directions. But Jay Clay brought up, I want y'all to keep this in mind for next week Tuesday. Jay Clay brought up, if y'all want to send me any clips to watch, to watch on the stream on Tuesday, or to go along with this narrative of, he said next week he wants us to talk about men versus women. Why are men and women against each other so strongly against each other in this day and age?
like in
And
general.
Lord knows that's a topic that we definitely need to talk about, because I see it a lot, and it's definitely not beneficial for any of us, men or women. So I want to say thank you to Jersey Devil. I would hit the sound effect, but it died. So I'm gonna hit you with that. All right. I want to say thank you to Badgurl Sniper. And I want to say thank y'all for being on the show with me tonight. That's number one. But also I want to say thank you for being on the show to help put me in the right energy, because like I said, it's been a pretty long couple of days for me, and I honestly didn't even want to get on the show and do it tonight, but I said, no, let me do it. It might actually make me feel better. And it actually did. So I want to say thank you.
Good.
Not to leave out my man Ashy Larry. Thank you to my brother. And yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday. We're going to talk about why are men and women so strongly going against each other in this day and age, when in all actuality, we really need to be standing together more than ever now. Lord, we need to stand together more than ever now. Men, women, black, white, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, Haitian, whoever, everybody, Polish, Italian, everybody. We need, as men and women, we need to be standing together more than ever now. And it seems like we're separated and against each other more than ever. And I think it's a great conversation to have. So, Jersey and Badgurl, thank you so much. I hope y'all have wonderful weekends. Also, anybody that want to come and play some Uno this Sunday,
Yes.
all right, y'all all you got to do is just
It's
send me
so
your PSN
fun.
name,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll add you to the Uno chat on PlayStation 4 or 5. No shame if you ain't got no PlayStation 5. It's all good. You
I
can
know,
play
I
on
just got
PlayStation 4.
one.
No shame, But if y'all want to come and have a good time and enjoy playing some Uno, y'all could come through on Sunday. Just follow the Instagram for the times and everything. But Jersey, thank you. Badgurl, thank you. I want y'all to have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully I'll see y'all on Tuesday or Sunday.
Absolutely.
Play some Uno.
Definitely
And,
Sunday.
All right. I want y'all to help me. What up, Tom? What's going on, bro? I ain't gonna get up out of here without acknowledging you. We the ones. All right, let's go ahead and hit the outro. It's your boy, Little Fat Mushy Toad, representing the WCIS. We can inspire someone. OPP, only promote positivity. Shout out to Waterbed Have, and a big shout out to Uncle DV. I love you, my brother. All right. Shout out to the WCIS community. Special shout out to Ashy Larry, Badgurl Sniper, and Jersey Devil. And thank you for joining the community. That's all about a unity. I have a wonderful weekend. I want y'all to stay blessed, stay beautiful, but most importantly, stay positive. And until Sunday or Tuesday, depending. Peace out. Later, y'all. Have a good night,
Bye.
Badgurl. Have a good night, Jersey. Thank you so much.
You too.
All right, later.